The loudest people are not always the most powerful. Real strength doesn't make noise. It makes moves. And while others are performing for attention, the truly unstoppable are practicing in silence, building in secret, and rising in purpose. If you want to be unstoppable, stop talking and start cultivating these 6 quiet habits. In a world obsessed with noise, clout, and public validation, there's a different kind of power, quiet power. It's the power of discipline, intention, and wisdom behind closed doors. If you master these 6 silent habits, you won't need to announce your greatness. Your results will speak louder than your words ever could. Waking up with purpose is not just about having a morning routine. It's about establishing spiritual dominance over your day before the world has a chance to define it for you. The moment your eyes open, a decision must be made. Will this day happen to you, or will it happen through you? Unstoppable people don't give their mornings to anxiety, urgency, or meaningless distraction. They don't reach for the noise of the world. They reach for the voice of God. Because they understand something most people ignore: how you start determines how you finish. And the first few minutes of your day are a spiritual battleground. You cannot be unstoppable if you keep starting your day reacting to everyone else's expectations. When your phone becomes your first altar, don't be surprised when confusion becomes your first harvest. But when God becomes your first audience, you access power that transcends human limitations. The unstoppable understand that mornings are not a countdown to chaos. They are a covenant of control. In that sacred hour, there are no meetings, no messages, no noise, just alignment. Before they check their schedule, they check their spirit. Before they step into motion, they center their minds. Because momentum without meaning leads to burnout. But direction, fueled by divine focus, births legacy. Prayer in the morning is not a ritual, it's a release. It's saying, God, I don't need the world's opinion to validate me today. I need your voice to guide me. It's surrendering your plans for His purpose. It's choosing peace before pressure, clarity before confusion, and vision before visibility. The people who win the day are the ones who win the morning. They know they can't afford to enter the battlefield of life without first consulting the commander. Meditation becomes the strategy room, stillness becomes the training ground, and worship becomes the fuel. This sacred time isn't about perfection, it's about positioning. Some days you may only have 10 minutes, but if those 10 minutes are drenched in intention, they'll do more for you than 2 hours of scattered activity. Because when you meet God early, He meets you in everything. Heaven honors discipline. Angels move on behalf of those who move in obedience. So don't treat your mornings like leftovers. Give God your first, give your purpose your best. Your future is too precious to leave to randomness. You were never meant to live on autopilot. You were called to live by assignment. The world may be rushing, but you don't have to. Slow down, lock in, and listen. There's a strategy for your day. There's a revelation waiting to be received, and it won't come through noise. It will come through nearness. So rise with intention, stand up in purpose. Speak into your day before it speaks to you. And understand this: when you start with God, you start with victory. When you start in silence, you walk in strength. This is not about motivation. This is about mastery. Master your mornings and you will master your mission. Mastering the power of selective silence is not about withholding your voice out of fear. It's about understanding that not every moment deserves a response and not every battle requires your presence. The truly unstoppable are not impulsive with their words. They have learned through pain, through failure, and through divine wisdom that there is power in restraint. They know that speaking without purpose drains authority, but silence with intention builds it. Every time you choose not to react, not to retaliate, and not to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you, you gain strength. You protect your energy, your peace, and most importantly, your focus. And it is that focus, undistracted and undisturbed, that positions you for breakthrough. There's a reason the enemy tries to provoke your mouth. If he can get you to speak out of emotion, he can cause you to lose alignment with your purpose. But when you practice selective silence, you confuse every strategy of distraction. You silence the noise around you by refusing to contribute to it. You no longer spend your breath trying to prove your worth because you've already proven it to God. You no longer waste your voice trying to convince people of your calling because your fruit will speak on your behalf. Jesus himself remained silent before his accusers, not because he was weak, but because he knew who he was. And that's what unstoppable people understand. Identity eliminates the need for constant validation. When you stop talking, something supernatural happens. God starts speaking louder in your spirit. You begin to hear clarity that was drowned out by the clutter of conversation. Your discernment sharpens, your vision clears. You realize some answers only come in silence. Some strategies only reveal themselves when you remove yourself from noise. When you are no longer performing for people, you give yourself permission to prepare for purpose. Selective silence is also a sign of maturity. It's easy to react, it's natural to clap back, but it takes strength to stand still and let God be your advocate. It takes wisdom to know when silence is your weapon and when your words would only weaken your position. Not everything deserves your commentary. Not everyone deserves a response. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Just watch, just wait, just work. Let the finished product of your purpose be your voice. Speak when it builds, speak when it heals, speak when it aligns with destiny. But when it doesn't, be still, because stillness is not passivity, it is positioning. Positioning for favor, for clarity, and for divine promotion. You don't need to shout to be significant. You don't need to argue to be anointed. You don't need to explain when your elevation will speak for itself. When God is ready to reveal you, no voice can hide you. Until then, remain grounded, remain focused, and remain quiet, because your silence today is the seed of your influence tomorrow. Planning in private is not just a tactic, it is a principle of divine strategy. In a world that constantly demands you to post, announce, and prove, there is a higher wisdom in moving in silence. The loud path often leads to sabotage, but the quiet path, the hidden one, is where true vision is formed. You must understand, not everyone deserves access to the blueprint of your destiny. Some people are not builders, they're destroyers. Some won't understand your calling, not because they're evil, but because they were never assigned to your vision. This is why the unstoppable write in journals that no one reads, pray prayers no one hears, and map out empires in solitude. They don't crave the approval of men because they walk with the instructions of God. Every time you write a vision privately, you're giving your soul a contract. You're declaring, this is what I was born to do. And heaven hears that. Angels respond to written purpose. Destiny begins to align with deliberate direction. But when you keep it all in your head, your future remains fragile, vulnerable to distraction, and open to distortion. What you don't document, you will drift from. But what you design with focus and guard with silence will grow with strength. Too many people expose the seed before it has roots. They share the dream before it has structure. They go public with a plan that isn't yet protected, and then they wonder why doors close and attacks come early. When you move prematurely, you allow opinions to pollute your promise. But when you plan in private, you protect the process. You give yourself room to evolve, to adjust, to refine, without the pressure to perform. The spotlight is not for building, it's for revealing what's already been built. Even Jesus retreated to the mountain before he stepped into ministry. Even the most anointed leaders in Scripture had moments of silence before moments of influence. Your private moments determine your public impact. It is in the quiet rooms, the hidden hours, the unnoticed efforts that legacies are carved. So stop feeling pressure to tell the world. Stop explaining what God told you in secret. Not every revelation needs a post. Some things need preservation. Some things need time to marinate in your spirit until they are too powerful to be stopped. Your future is too sacred to be tweeted away. Your strategy is too valuable to be crowdsourced. Write it, hide it, work it, pray over it. And when it's time, the fruit will speak for itself. People will ask how you did it, and you won't need to say a word. Your results will become the loudest sermon. Planning in private isn't hiding, it's honoring. It's honoring the weight of your assignment, the value of your destiny, and the timing of your release. Because when you plant your destiny in sacred soil, no man can uproot what God has ordained to grow. Practicing daily self-discipline is the cornerstone of every unstoppable life. It is the quiet force that shapes champions long before anyone notices their rise. Imagine the gym at 5 a.m. empty and cold, with no cheers or applause, just you, your will, and your commitment. That solitude, that absence of external validation, is where true greatness is forged. It is easy to show up when people are watching, when the crowd is cheering, or when there is a prize waiting at the finish line. But what about those early mornings when no one sees you, when your body aches and your mind pleads for rest? This is the real test of your spirit and the foundation of your unstoppable momentum. Self-discipline is more than simply doing what you have to do. It is a sacred act of self-respect. A recognition that your future depends on what you do consistently in the present moment. Each choice you make to push forward, to resist temptation, or to prioritize what matters is a deposit in the bank of your destiny. The quiet moments when you choose study over distraction, exercise over comfort, or productivity over procrastination are the moments when your character is built. These moments are invisible to the world, yet they are the most important battles you will ever fight. The applause will come later, but it is earned in the silence of discipline. If you cannot master yourself in the dark, then you will never have true authority in the light. The idea is simple but profound. Leadership begins with self-leadership. You cannot command, respect, or influence others if you have not learned to command your own thoughts, your habits, and your emotions. Discipline is not just about willpower. It is about training your mind to obey your purpose, even when your feelings betray you. It is about building routines that reinforce your goals, even when motivation wanes. This mastery over self is a covenant, a silent agreement you make with your future self. You tell yourself, I am worth the effort. My dreams are worth the sacrifice. Discipline is often misunderstood as a harsh, joyless grind, but that is a misconception. True discipline brings freedom. It frees you from the chains of distraction, procrastination, and regret. When you are disciplined, you do not live at the mercy of your impulses or the fleeting tides of emotion. Instead, you choose your path intentionally. You create an environment where success becomes inevitable because your habits support your vision. Over time, these habits build resilience, endurance, and mental toughness. They create a momentum so powerful that setbacks no longer derail you, they only make you stronger. Every successful person you admire has a story of daily discipline behind their achievements. It is the uncelebrated work that happens behind closed doors, the repeated actions that others overlook. Whether it is a writer who commits to writing a page every day, an athlete who trains relentlessly despite injury or exhaustion, or a leader who studies and prepares quietly, daily discipline is their secret weapon. It is the silent engine that drives progress and growth. Without it, talent alone will fade and dreams will remain just dreams. You must realize that discipline is not a one-time act, but a daily decision. It is the sum of countless small choices. Waking up early, resisting the easy path, saying no to distractions, and saying yes to growth. It is in these daily decisions that you prove your commitment to your purpose. The power of self-discipline lies in its consistency. It is the daily, faithful effort that, compounded over time, transforms ordinary people into unstoppable forces. So embrace discipline as your ally. Respect it as the silent covenant with your future that will elevate you beyond any temporary discomfort. In practicing daily self-discipline, you are not just building habits, you are building a legacy that no one can take away. Feeding your mind with intentional content is one of the most powerful habits you can develop on the path to becoming unstoppable. It may seem like a simple choice, what to watch, what to listen to, what to read, but this decision shapes your entire destiny. The mind is a garden, and whatever you plant and nurture will determine the kind of harvest you reap. If you fill your mind with noise, distractions, and trivial entertainment, you will find your life scattered and unfocused. But if you deliberately choose to nourish your mind with wisdom, knowledge, and inspiration, your thoughts will become strong, your vision clear, and your actions purposeful. Unstoppable people understand this principle deeply. They don't passively consume whatever the world throws at them. Instead, they select their inputs with care and intention. Their media choices are not random. They are deliberate. They prioritize content that educates, uplifts, and challenges them to grow. Whether it's a book filled with profound insight, a podcast that stretches their understanding, or scripture that fuels their spirit. These are the weapons of the quietly wise. These individuals recognize that what you feed your mind is directly reflected in your behavior and your results. Consider this: your output in life, your decisions, your attitudes, your creativity, your influence is a reflection of what you've been putting into your mind. If your input is shallow or negative, your output will be limited and often counterproductive. But when you feed your mind rich, meaningful content regularly, your output will become rich and impactful. This is why those who wish to transform their lives must first transform their daily mental diet. It requires discipline and intentionality because the distractions of the modern world are relentless, tempting us to settle for entertainment over education, for noise over knowledge. Silence is essential in this process. The quiet moments when you reflect on what you've learned, when you meditate on truth, or when you simply let knowledge sink deeply into your spirit are the moments when true growth occurs. The mind doesn't just absorb information, it transforms through reflection and application. When you consciously choose your mental inputs and then spend time in silent reflection, you strengthen your thinking and deepen your understanding. This combination turns knowledge into wisdom and potential into action. Mentorship is also a critical part of feeding the mind intentionally. Surrounding yourself with wise people, whether through direct relationships or by consuming the teachings of great leaders and thinkers, helps you avoid the pitfalls of ignorance and short-sightedness. Mentors provide insight and perspective that you may not arrive at on your own. They help you see beyond your current limitations and open doors to new possibilities. Listening to their words, studying their lives, and adopting their mindset is a quiet yet powerful way to accelerate your growth. Scripture and spiritual nourishment, for those who follow a faith, offer the deepest kind of content. These sacred texts are timeless wells of wisdom that guide you through life's complexities. Feeding on spiritual truth provides strength, peace, and clarity in moments of confusion and adversity. It anchors your mind and heart in principles that never fail, helping you maintain focus and perseverance. Ultimately, feeding your mind with intentional content is about mastery over what influences you. It is a daily commitment to grow beyond your current state by choosing the right mental food. As you feed your mind, your thoughts begin to rise above the noise, your focus sharpens, your confidence builds, you begin to think and act like the unstoppable person you are destined to be. Remember, you will never rise above the level of your thinking, and your thoughts are shaped by what you feed your mind in silence. Choose well and become unstoppable. Don't confuse stillness with stagnation. Don't mistake silence for weakness. A seed grows in silence. A foundation is laid underground. And the most powerful moves are made in prayer, in planning, and in preparation. While others perform for the crowd, be the one training in the shadows, because when God lifts you, no one will be able to deny it. Quiet habits build loud legacies. Build yours in silence, on purpose, unstoppable.